All right, so here we are, the week moving into what could be some new inflation numbers, also taking a look at maybe where the FOMC is going to stand in terms of what we'll see in terms of an interest rate. And also, we're going to take a look at kind of the effect on the market. And part of that, we'll be looking at altcoins today. We'll also dive into Bitcoin and Ethereum for you, breaking all that down for you today. My name is Paul Barron. Welcome back into Tech Path. All right, let's get into it today. We're going to bring in our studious and most fun host out there, and that, of course, is Mr. Evan Aldo. Evan, great to have you back in the show.
Thanks for the great intro. Appreciate it. Awesome.
I
to
love
be
it. I
here.
got to come up with some good intros for some of our hosts here on the network because
That was pretty
you
good.
guys put in the work. I know that. So you're always texting me and giving me insights on this or that. There's movement here. There's
Yeah.
this things. I've got this happening on Market Cipher. So I love that. And for
Yeah.
our audience out there, it's kind of fun. We'll break all that down for you guys today. We do want to thank our sponsor today, and that is iTrust Capital. If you guys are looking at jumping into crypto IRAs, just jump over to iTrust Capital, check them out. You can do silver, gold as well. Now, we are nearing tax season, so maybe this is a good strategy for you and your family to start looking at some crypto IRAs, look at long-term holds, and take those tax benefits and advantages. Just go over to iTrust Capital. Use our link down below. It's going to give you a $100 funding reward, so make sure and check that out. All right, so Evan, let's get into a couple of things here. I want to jump over to Chainlink first, and I'm going to jump to this Twitter tweet right here. Staking representing a new area of crypto economic security. This is Chainlink all coming into into staking now. Chainlink, of course, had a nice little run. Overall, when you look at Chainlink, and I want to get to your chart, this kind of starts to move, and we've talked about this before, staking usually generates a little bit of activity on some of these chains. Where do you see Chainlink going right now? What is your particular outlook for it?
So yeah, on my charts, it doesn't seem like there's any reason to believe just yet we're gonna change the main pattern we've been in. So we've been in this wedge, as you can see, this kind of ascending wedge, technically an ascending wedge for a while now, really since May. And we had a fake out here, and then you're coming back up, and it's just been kind of in that consolidation phase now. My main guess here, and the people more bullish on this probably won't like this, but my main guess is you got to kind of have one last capitulation down to really have this play out. And you have the blood diamond. You can see this blood diamond on the weekly here. Now, that's the last time it happened was a long time ago, kind of to Chainlink's unusual bottom in June of 2018. Before everything else, this came down about 70%. I'm not saying it's definitely going to come down that much, but it's possible here. And we are in kind of that area of the market where you could have that just final capitulation to your rare buying opportunity. And it would bring us down to a lot of your bottoms for bubbles, which is going to be somewhere in this range. I would say between this technical target out of this wedge at 390 to probably worst case scenario high ones, 190,
Okay.
180, something like that. So that's going to be a huge area. And sadly, I think probably that's going to happen. Also, you can look at this 3-day split RSIs right here. Look at these blue triangles. They tend to keep bringing you down. And if you just come down this much, that's 30% down. So that's kind of your technical target right there. So I think you're probably at least going to come down to that $5 area, make a lower low here.
Yeah, a quick look at my chart. If you were able to get to Chainlink, maybe late November, and even at that point, you'll look at the growth right here. Let's flip over to that chart. So this is still a 22% at current rate of 680. This is still a 22% gain. And remember, guys, you should be taking profits on these. Now, again, not financial advice. When Evan and I do these kind of market movers, the idea behind this is to give you guys some insights to it, hopefully our trading cues. But this is where I probably would have already been out of Chainlink in the essence, and actually was out when we did a trade earlier in the month. But if you look at the sentiment on Chainlink, this is also sliding down dramatically. So it is following in line with this movement trend. So I'm in agreement with you, Evan, is that this one may be in a position where it may see some new local lows. All right, let's get over to another staking project out there. And actually, I want to talk about this one right here because this is, yeah, it's like, this is another thing that kind of concerns me when you get to that 4.75, the community staker reward. I don't like
Yeah.
these when they get into that level because we've seen what happens in these kind of scenarios. Let's
Yes,
go
we
over to
have.
ApeCoin. ApeCoin hits 20 million as staking now goes live. But the real question is, what happens with Ape? We've seen some good movement on it. Where do you like this token right now?
It looks to me like it's going to be more of a sell the news type thing from my, analysis, and I'll show you why right here. I mean, if we look at Ape, the first thing I want to show you is on the daily on ApeCoin right here, and this is going to be a bearish div, which is textbook market cipher, where you want to look at momentum coming down. See these two red dots are coming down while price is making a higher high. This confirms in about 3 hours. Most likely it will confirm. So I think it's going to be kind of sell the news off of that staking, and I think you could come down a decent amount here. Now, you would look, normally looks a bit bullish that your money flow has been in the red a while coming into the green, but in these bear markets, usually it just rolls over. That's what you want to look at there. Also, for maybe a potential short right now, obviously going to be risky shorting a coin like this, a meme coin, but this 3 hour money flow crossover, look at what happened last time on the bullish side. This brought you up. I mean, it came down a little bit there, but it brought you up about 40%. Now, that could lead to some situation where you come back down to your previous, November lows to create maybe a double bottom pattern or even have a lower low here. I mean, it's a meme coin, it's ape coin, so don't get mad at me for being bearish on this.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. I think the key here with meme coins is that they quickly can pivot on just the slightest of news. And that is something that is difficult to track. Even when you look at, our own sentiment, I'll just go over to ApeCoin sentiment right now. Even though the top line sentiment, I'll jump down here, top line sentiment around the 1st of December had kind of eclipsed a little bit. But the problem is that we were seeing amplification, which is kind of the intent sentiment, people talking about whether or not they're going to buy it, sell it, etc. That was actually declining, and top line kind of declined with it. It flatlined right there in with what the overall market sentiment is. So again, this gets back to the point of, if you look at the price action, kind of going sideways, somewhat downtrend. Even if you look at that, let's take a look at what that percentage was. If you bought at that high, you're still down almost 10% right now. So again, I think this is the beginning of maybe a downtrend, providing that we don't see some sort of, crazy meme coin, like Elon jumping in and saying, hey, we're going to use ApeCoin in all of our Teslas out there or something crazy.
Yeah, that would
sure.
that would not be fun for people.
That'd
to
get going. Yeah, that would mess some shorts up for sure. All right, so speaking of Elon, you've got Elon now lifting Twitter ban on a lot of the Dogecoin accounts. And guess what? Of course, what happens? Dogecoin pumps 7%. Doge has been fun to play here recently. I've talked to several traders who have been playing Dogecoin and doing fairly decent with it. What's your insight on Dogecoin right now?
So I got stopped out of my short in profit on it. I was short on it, but it just didn't. I'm still short on a few other altcoins, but this one is the toughest one. It's got some weird volatility. Now, let me show you my chart here. So my main guess on Doge right now is going to be kind of more bearish, because if you look at this pattern, you can see this on Bitcoin as well. I want you guys to focus on these split RSIs right here on the 23 hour. It's really on all the higher type timeframes. It's split RSIs and you got the red dot and you're coming down. That's usually, if we just look historically here, the last time we kind of saw the higher split RSIs was back in February, and you just, went down about 40% here in the shorter term. You came up a little bit. Doge has a very, weird trajectory with everything going on. I mean, I do think there's a high likelihood of, coming down 40%, coming back down to these lows that you had in October here. Obviously, with Elon, tweeting anything could kind of happen. Also, if you look at kind of the 3-day, you would typically look at the money flow coming up into the green right here as more bullish. But a lot of times in the bear markets, it comes into that green just a little bit, and then it curves right back down in the red, and then you don't see the bottom until you get deep in the red again. So that could be a bottom sometime in January back at these lows there.
Interesting. I think your point is close to what I'm thinking. I'm looking at our chart, which is if you look at just this recent local low, which was around the 21st of November, running in at around 7 cents, that would be a 24, almost 25% drop. And if you look at the quick movement right here on sentiment that we've had earlier this week, that also aligns with this movement that we've seen right here. So if it stays in line, and we'll print another sentiment score on Doge, if it continues to percolate downward, we could be getting in, because there's a little bit of resistance right here at around 992. And then the next layer is right around 8.8. And then you see this little breakthrough point at 0.0805. So I don't know this if sentiment continues to move, but again, this goes back to because of the meme coins and tokens, especially as one related so closely with Twitter and Elon. Anything could happen at the drop of a tweet, with Dogecoin. So, but it's going to be an interesting one to track. All right, let's get into the star of the month, and that is Matic. A couple things happening here. New era in the music. So now you got Legend Music kind of moving into this with their Mourner thing, obviously running on Polygon. Couple other things happening right here. You got Rarible scaling now, the marketplace generator now with Polygon now offering that whole community beta access. So more NFTs for Polygon. Then you've got Starbucks Odyssey, which we've reported on here in our show. This, of course, begins this week. So that in itself is also another percolate for Polygon. Mm-hmm. Speaking of coffee. I'm trying to get some good jokes in here. I don't know if,
It's pretty good.
I'm trying to make I'm trying to get this into a comedy show. We'll see. But Evan, Matic, are we going to see some more gains here, or is all the juice squeezed out of this one?
I think we have to kind of come down, kind of based on that joke that you just said too, and maybe based on my charts. Well, I mean, look, the first thing I would be looking at this right here is the 4-day, and you can look at kind of what happened here. So we look at these split RSIs, and look, we came up to this big pocket right there in the fib levels, came down, split RSIs, that brought us down with the red dot. Now we came back up. We're testing this right now, this fib level at about 92 cents. Your RSIs, you could look at them, they're starting to curve down your 4-day here, and you can probably see it a little bit better on your 3-day as well. And look at that candle, that Heikin-Ashi candle. The average is now in the red. That's a more bearish sign. You could continue downward here. You do have the little trigger wave. That's more of the bullish case to have another jump up here. I don't really think that's going to happen. And what I'm looking at too on the 16-hour is some split RSIs here. And I believe not a bearish div, but almost a bearish div to kind of bring us down. You can look at the last time we had split RSIs like this on Matic. This was that was a 26% drop down. So from the high there, 26% would bring you right to about 70 cents right to this channel. So I think there's a good shot you come down to this channel. I also think on the macro, I don't know. It's giving me like weird vibes because everybody's talking about Matic. I feel like it's got to just come down at some point here. Yeah. Also on the 2-day, your RSI is kind of coming down more. Money flow kind of looks overheated. Money flow almost looks like kind of how it looked back up these points. And look what happened there. So I think there's a good shot that you come down to at least like 75 cents. Also a decent shot you come down and form a potential double bottom pattern at around 40 cents.
Yeah, I'm looking at the trend line. This goes all the way back to where we saw Matic back here November, and it was running at 81, and that was a lot of people rode this one up with us, and then we've had this correction down here to 88, crossing over and seeing a little bit of lift there. I won't show the sentiment, so we don't show sentiment on all of these, but there were some interesting signs on Matic in our CPI that gave us some good indicators to exit the position here, mainly from this right here, and that's when Matic was at around 81, and then exiting at around a 16% gain. So that's one thing I would say is that there are some uniqueness. I would agree with you that there may be some opportunities here, but again, Matic does things that are very unique, and that is they are a PR engine and a biz dev engine. They constantly are doing deals, and there's no telling what they're getting ready to drop at any given moment, whether it's another Starbucks or another Nike. But the likelihood is I think we're going to see some interesting things coming from them. But I would agree, I'm still looking at this as a little bit of a downturn for sure. We're going to give you guys Bitcoin and Ethereum, and we're going to do sentiment. If you want Bitcoin and Ethereum sentiment, hit the like button right now. Just smash it. We're going to see how many likes we get. If we get enough likes there, I don't know what the likes with the Crypto Pit will say to that, but they'll give me a hands up. If we get enough likes, we'll get Bitcoin and Ethereum sentiment for you guys and break down Evan on where he thinks this is going. Let's jump over to Arweave. Now, Arweave has some secret sauce brewing right now. They got the Meta thing with Instagram, basically going to be their we'll call them their day trading partner, but their data partner. And remember, this is when Meta talks about this. This was November 2nd. I hate that. That's a bad day and a good day. It was the bad day that the leak went to Coinbase on FTX is my birthday. And it was also when Meta said that they're going to do this whole Creator 22 week platform. So, but the point is that Arweave is going to really become one of the engines for Meta. When they drop this and we start to really see use case, we could see Arweave get very interesting. Which, when you think about Arweave, and let's just look at it here. You had the Arweave announcement, so you had Meta is now utilizing Arweave for Instagram, blah blah blah. And then you have Elon poo-pooing it. Oh, really? So this to me is it's the perfect, billionaire to billionaire tit for tat type thing. Arweave is doing something with Meta. Elon says, screw Meta and Instagram. I'm running to Twitter over here. We need to do something over here. And then he kind of throws out that little bit of shade. It's interesting to see how these markets kind of move with that. With that being the case, let's go back to technicals now and get away from the drama and look at Arweave technicals. What do you think on Arweave? Is this another drop?
It's very interesting on this one because this is where you're kind of on thin ice, and I'll tell you why right here. I mean, look at, so this is all the data I really have on Arweave right now, and we're toying around with the lows from July 2021, and you don't have much else to mess around with after you lose this. You do have, a fib level at, oh no, that's too low, -2, so that'd be going to 0 essentially with that case, but there's not much. And, if this isn't I think there are some good things with Meta. There's some hope here, but if this is not the bottom and you come down lower, there's a good possibility you could end up at 0 here. Also, I'm not seeing too much strength on some of these time frames. I mean, you're coming back into the red here on the 2-day. I mean, there also is obviously a case that you could bottom out around $5 or something of that nature and come back. Not saying it's definitely going to go to 0, but we all know that's a possibility for a lot of these altcoins. And split RSI is kind of on the bearish div and split RSI is in the 16-hour right here. That could bring it down to lower lows here. And I wouldn't mess with it just yet. This is one that I would wait, a month and look back and see if it's held up, had strength. Also, your 4-hour coming into the red there. So not seeing much. It's just a wait and watch for a month or two. You know what I mean? Just a wait and watch into January and see where it is then.
Yeah, I think the key will be Meta. This is either the make or break for Arweave from a fundamental standpoint of what kind of projects are moving and what kind of development these projects have. Because as you know, that drives sentiment. Sentiment drives price action, and then price action changes the charts. So I'm still a little bit bullish on Arweave in the sense that there's an opportunity here from a fundamental standpoint. But again, you have to have enough people aware of it, and it is a very geeky token in the sense of what it does. Being a data tool for Web3, very early. Yes, Instagram will play into this, and yes, the creator component for Meta will probably have a huge impact on this. The question is when. So this might just be one of those things. If you're very convicted on a token, and you like Arweave's vision of the future, maybe this is one of those bets, that you put out, like on let's see, who would be the worst NFL team right now? Let me think about it. That would win the Super Bowl. Not that they would be that particular case right now. I feel like this would be like the Bucks winning the Super Bowl.
Probably, yeah. I would say the Bucks or maybe the Jets.
Okay, all right, the Jets would be good too. Gary
Yeah,
V would love that one. He loves the Jets.
yeah.
All right, so let's end up with Axie, then we'll get into Bitcoin and Ethereum. Axie 20% in 24 hours. Man, do we sell this thing right now? Take our profits and go?
Probably. Let's take a look. Let me get my chart up. So let's see. Let me find Axie right here. Must have got. I could
Here
find
was
it. Give
the
me one
trade.
second. I gotta go.
Yeah, here's the trading volume right here. It shot up 800% to 10.4 million after the Axie Infinity team released their first details about Axie Core. That was their big. Let me draw up on this real quick. Um, and then this whole thing around what they were doing. So new features. They're going to be dropping this in their trend again. Really kind of building in some interesting aspects. Again, Axie just seems to be continue to drop these little featurettes. Now, part of this is going to be gamified mechanics, enhancing user experiences, so equipped accessories. Again, all this is part of the game, the breeding aspect, more immersive. Um, again, I was surprised that this drop brought it up as much as it did. So, especially because it was pretty much a inactive token for quite some time in terms of growth. Where do you think this is going to pull it?
I'm not seeing any reason to believe, based on my charts, that you're going to continue forward here. A lot of weird volatility, even on November 12th, a month ago. That was crazy, up to 19, at least on Binance, up to
Mm-hmm.
$19. But looking at the split RSIs in the 16-hour here, I mean, it doesn't seem like it's going to be any different from what's happened, what's been happening since May, really. Right here, it just keeps giving us big drops downward of upwards of 50%. I mean, anywhere between like 50, 30%. This one was all the way down to 73%. So pick your poison there. I think it'll probably come down at least to down 30% back to around the low at this area of, support at 680. So I think it's a nice sell the news right now. Yeah, I'm just not seeing a reason to believe this is going to be sustainable here. Yeah.
So take those profit, guys. If you're not in it already, let's see. What did you? Because it's corrected just a little bit here. So let's see what that percentage
Yeah.
is. If you were holding it last week and you were looking at moving this up now, what are we talking about? No, that's not it. Let's get the profits from last week right there on the 4th. Selling it right now 26%. Payday. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, I would
Take
take
your money.
it.
Take your money and
Yeah.
get away.
Yeah.
Good for you guys. Hopefully you're in that. All right, so we're going to get to Bitcoin and Ethereum. I know we got a poll coming up here as well. Make sure and drop your questions in over the side. Evan and I try to get some of those quickly. Let's do Bitcoin. No, let's do Ethereum first. Then we'll take the poll and come back and do Bitcoin. Okay? So let's do Ethereum. Let's take a look because there's some interesting things happening with Ethereum. Question mark on Ethereum. Let me jump to the sentiment. Let's see how we'll go reverse it. This one has been a little bit waffly, and we've seen that in somewhat of the price action. But the concern right now I have with Ethereum is that the amplification is still separating from top line, and it's underperforming the overall market. Think of this as the fear and greed, and you look at how Ethereum is placed. Could be pointing downward. What are your thoughts on Ethereum right now?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it looks like it could definitely be pointing downward. And let's go to my Ethereum chart right here. And the first thing I want to kind of show you guys is going to be the 2-day, which you have a red X in the 2-day. I mean, red X or red dot typically is going to be more bearish. Also, in bull and bear markets, when you have these little rallies like this, or you should say, you come into the green on the 2-day, but it doesn't last that long. It's not like here where it lasts for years and you keep, over a year and it keeps going up. It lasts a little bit and then you come back down. And we're seeing money flow coming out while your VWAP is curving down there, which is not a good sign. That could absolutely bring us quite a bit lower. People don't like my targets sometimes for this, but I think there's a good shot, especially if you get a capitulation like you saw in 2018, that last leg down maybe in January. 500, probably worst case scenario, I would say low threes, but between 3 to 600 is going to be a big area. I think
Whew.
there's a lot of people also holding on to this, like people that don't really have too much business holding on to this, that just bought it during the merge, kind of like paper
Yeah,
hands that may get rid of it. Also, I want to show you the last thing on the 20 hour here, which is that same thing I've been showing you on a few of the altcoins. Look at these split RSIs right here. I mean, look at these corrections with these split RSIs. I mean,
yeah,
this one wasn't too bad. This one was only 20% right there, but this last one over here, this was, I mean, if you count it all the way there, that was 40%, but from
yeah,
the
yeah.
local low around 30%. So let's see where that would bring us if we come down 30%. So 20%, that's around 1,000. 30% is, there's not much to latch on to at 900. I think your next big place is going to be around 600, this area. So sadly,
One
you're at the
thing that,
guts.
yeah, one thing I'm watching real closely is this right here on the sentiment. Is you'll see this move that we had to 49. It drops almost 2 points, which is a big number to drop. The concern I have is, remember, we had this on 1118 of a low at 43.12 sentiment. This was on the amplification, heavy deviation. And if you go back to, what was that day, 1118, we'll go back in here to ETH. Let me jump up here to ETH real quick and go back here to, yeah, right here. So here's the 20 right here, right there. That is the 20th. So right before that, let me kind of move this over. Right during this period of time, 1118, right there, we start seeing this thing crater, and it was right back here. That was when ETH really kind of separated away, and that was exactly the point of what you're getting at, which is right now that would have been a loss of almost 15% down to that low right there where you bought ETH at about 1,080 here recently. Now, if you bought it there, this is a perfect time to dump it. This would be a good take your profits
Yep.
and move on. If you're further deep into ETH, maybe your strategy, I know some of my strategies because I've got some Ethereum up in the 1,700-1,800 range, is maybe take a tax loss harvest and then come back in and buy ETH in January or February when we start to see some new lows coming in. So those are some scenarios that we are going to play for sure. I'd love to know if you guys are playing that. Are you trying to look at jettisoning some of your higher priced Bitcoin and Ethereum and then coming back in at the price that it's in right now? Maybe you're going to be able to buy back in cheaper, take the loss, and use that as a tax benefit for you, because obviously a lot of people are going to be in that position this year. Let's go to the poll real quick. All right, what kind of altcoins have you have the biggest potential for a random pump? Twitter coins, that's Dogecoin and Mask. 41%, everybody's saying that. Meta, which is Arweave Polygon. So Twitter wins the situation. New staking, not so much, and then gaming. I still think, yeah, I would agree with that. I would have to agree with that. Twitter coins for these random pumps for sure. Getting into that, we're going to get some questions. Let's go over to the big boy, and that is Bitcoin. Tell me what you think about Bitcoin. I'm looking at it setting at 16.8 right now.
So we are approaching a very, very important point for Bitcoin, and that's going to lie on the 2-week time frame right here. And this is such an important point because it's going to allow a lot of people to get into what I think is a very, very, very rare DCA, long-term DCA opportunity. So look at where the money flow is on the 2-week right now. And I know a lot of people would be talking about this is a bullish div on the 2-week. It doesn't mean anything to me until it confirms in 11 days. So, and they could absolutely go away. So I'm not going to give this any credence, any thought that we're just going to jump up and go crazy until it confirms. So right here, it's this period. This was about a 10-month period where you were in the red, and look at how this set you up for the next bull run. Look at that, set you up perfectly for about an 800% to the top there. Also, the previous area where we were in the red, it got choppy a little bit, but this was about a 10-month period as well, where this set you up for a nice potential, 100x or 70x at least. He could have got 100x from the bottom there. But yeah, that's that point. And I think once we get into the red there, that's really what you got to look at. For the short term, for the more short term now of what could happen, I'm a little bit concerned because the same reason as ETH right here. Look, money flow coming out, and your VWAP is coming down right there. That has potential to bring us to a lower low. The next big area too is going to be around, this area. This is really, after these spider lines kind of right here, next area is kind of like 14s. There's one support and resistance area from 2018. I could zoom out and go to the Stone Age and show you guys it back in 2017 right here. After that, not much until you're really toying with the 500 weekly moving average, which I could show you that is going to be at about 11.1K right there. 11.1K, which is fun fact too. We're about 10 days away. If we look at the and this market has looked more similar. If you're not familiar, the double top pattern in 2013 was the same. It was April and November, end of November of 2013, just like 2021. You didn't bottom out until January 2015, January 12th, 2015, around there. So yeah, we're kind of into this area right now, the end, beginning of December, for this big leg down. I'm not saying you're going to come down, 60% there. Market cap is larger, less volatility, but you could come down 30, 40% easily. Let's see what it would be from where we are right now to this potential place. That's only 36% down.
Yeah, 36% down. What would that bring it to?
11.1K, the 500 weekly moving average.
11. Yeah.
And we always tend to bottom out at a major weekly moving average.
Yeah, and this is, Gareth has talked about this on the show before, is the 10K Bitcoin. I'm still questioning whether or not we'll see that 10K. I'm still on the stronger side. I will be a little bit of a contrarian on this for Bitcoin in the short term. Now, there's a couple of things playing out, the FOMC and the CPI data. The CPI data could come in much softer than what maybe the market is anticipating that hasn't been priced in. I think the interest rate scenario from what Powell will place on the market is most likely priced in. So if we do see maybe as much as a 3-point variance on the inflation number, meaning downward, then you could get, I think certainly people would assume that, all right, we've reached max height of inflation and we are on a downward trend. That alone, I think, has an implication on traditional, securities. And most likely with those kind of movements comes Bitcoin movement as well, just because of its relationship, which could pop us into a little bit of a run before Christmas. If you look at Bitcoin sentiment, it's been trending. It was trending down here from 1129 and started moving down. And then all of a sudden we had this nice little pump right here back to 5310. And amplification is still over indexing on overall market. Let me kind of zoom in on that. It's indexing overall market, which tells me still Bitcoin dominance is strong enough to see a little bit of movement here. Question will be whether or not we print a negative move off of this today. Later today will be the question, and then the rest of this week. But right now, interesting play, obviously playing into CPI and the FOMC going forward.
Regarding that, there could be a lot of volatility. Like you could see us be bearish until that CPI reading. If that CPI reading is good, you could have a nice big jump up and then right back down. A lot of volatility.
Which is what, these are the things we're watching very closely on the sentiment side of things. Let's get into a few questions, Evan. Crypto Trend says, you make Gareth look like a moon boy. And have you ever heard Gareth?
He said lower. I've heard him say 3K.
You've heard him say 3K. Good defense, man. You're playing defense over here. All right, so let's get into other aspects of this. Cisco Crypto says Genesis is going to wreck us all. Nothing pumping till then. Genesis is a bigger problem, maybe more so than people think. But yet, I think there's a lot of things happening in the background yet for this to play out. If this goes into a bankruptcy scenario, we'll see. Okay, I'm not going to say that. All right. H-Bar. Man, we got some crazy comments in here too.
I've never been bullish on any token. Yeah.
Are you reading these?
when they were actually going up.
Yes. Evans says any project. Well, they're trashing you, Evan. Today they're getting you good.
Ooh.
I like it.
I've been doing really good with silver. That's not a crypto. I've been doing good with silver. Look at silver. It's been up. I've been writing about silver.
All right. Listen, next thing we're going to do is have Peter Schiff on the show, and you and him can debate silver and gold.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be awesome.
Okay, so Gala, Gala struggled a little bit here. So, when you look at Gala, mainly what I've done, if you're in our mastermind group, we exited all of our positions on Gala as a token. And, as I look at metaverse tokens in general, I think many of them are going to continue to struggle during this period of time. We will see a bottom though. And who is here when that bottom occurs and is building? Those are the ones I'm watching for very closely. Solana. Let me take a. What are you seeing on Solana right now? Are you liking it? Not liking it?
Let me get up my chart. Pretty much how everything else. I mean, Solana, obviously with FTX, not the best situation. Your next big place for it is at around. Let's see here. That's going to be at around 376 because just how the structure of it is. There's not much in between here and that area. And I don't know if it's going to go to zero. It could. It probably has more of a likelihood to go to zero than quite a few of the coins we looked at today. Not the meme coins or AR,
Man.
but
boy, the Solana boys are not liking that.
Yeah,
Ooh,
I'd say
careful
of
the heresy
like
you speak.
Link, yeah, but coins like Link, Atom, I would say have better odds right now than Solana. I would say wait, just see what happens with this. I mean, if we could see some good signs, if we could see this green dot come out on the weekly here and confirm, some good things like that. But other than that, 2 week, maybe if we could get, this would be a great opportunity. If we could get a bullish div on this 2 week and somehow you're able to hold, $10 here, whenever this may happen, that would be a good DCA opportunity for a long term in the next bull run. It could be like, it could come back up in the next bull run, not do as much. I mean, there's a lot of different possibilities, but I'm definitely concerned about it right now.
Yeah, we're going to definitely, I see a lot of questions coming in on Metaverse. We are going to try to get a Metaverse show out for you this week to give you some of the Metaverse analysis, to dive into those, because I think some of these need a little bit more breadth. A couple of the things to be watching, and again, this goes back to the strength in some of the known entities of where Metaverse will go. Polygon, there's a handful, whether you're looking at Render, Arweave, etc. Some of those rails, we talk about this a lot. And then the gaming tokens. There are a handful of gaming tokens, I think, they make it through. There will be some more pain, there will be some more opportunities, but the key is if they've got enough runway. This is very critical right now because the VC money has dried up. It's harder to get more funding at this period of time. It's like going back in Silicon Valley and doing a round down, and those are never comfortable, and it's hard, especially for Web3, because these guys were valued at such crazy stuff. All right, this is going to be crazy out there for sure. If Twitter releases a token, then things are going to get really interesting for sure. We're going to see a whole new generation of adoption, and you're going to see a whole new meme culture start to just birth on crypto Twitter.
That could be the plan. If Elon's able to release a token at the bottom of the bear market, that'd be interesting.
Why wouldn't you? I mean, that alone and the valuation possibility for that, and them not being a public company. I mean, there's a lot of strategic things that have been placed by Elon that could play into this, and his struggle with the SEC, which is another one. Remember, SEC and Elon no get along, so big one.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're gonna check out of here. Evan, good seeing you. Thanks for stopping in today. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks so much, Paul. Always great to be on.
All right. Okay, you guys, if you're not part of the Diamond Circle, get in quickly. We got a lot happening before the end of the year. We got a tax guide coming up that you can get a membership discount on. So this is free, so it's free money to you guys if you are interested in getting those tax guides. And then additionally, we drop additional content, a lot of stuff planned for 2023 in terms of advancing the Diamond Circle itself. So it's really easy and it's free. Just jump in, use our link below. If you guys are over on the podcast, get over here to the YouTube channel, give us some likes, let us know what you're thinking in terms of your own journey. Maybe you're getting into Metaverse, maybe you're going into the altcoins, or maybe you are a Bitcoin diehard. Whatever it is, I'd love to get your feedback. Always leave comments, because that's what we read the most of, and it helps us kind of format our shows, our research, all that stuff playing into what you guys want here on the network. If you're not following me on Twitter, make sure, check it out. It's just @PaulBaron. I'll catch you next time right here on TechPath.